Hello and welcome to StroongeCast episode 98.
Would you sleep with Android?
Wait and see. 'Cause you might change your mind. But before all of that, tell me about your week.
It's been really busy and really hot,
Yeah?
basically.
Have you done anything fun?
I took Alice to the cinema. I
Oh
think.
yeah, you did.
That was this week, wasn't it?
I forgot about that.
Or was it? It's definitely been since we last recorded.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's technically this week, though. Maybe it was Friday. I think it was Friday last week. So, yeah. I think with the summer holidays, everything just kind of goes out of the window a bit. The structure of our days just
Loses its
goes.
mind.
Yeah. It's kind of hard to keep up with it.
Sure enough.
But we did that. We saw the new Minions film, which was great.
Yes.
And then the rest of the week is I've just been really busy with stuff and it's been really hot.
You did something fun today.
I ordered my birthday present. So
It sounds a bit weird, but...
no. So my big birthday is next month, the end of next month. And we sort of had talked before, hadn't we, about getting a new bed. And I think because you were really struggling with what to get me for my birthday, you thought, let's just do that, because we kept putting it off, being like, oh, well, there's nothing technically wrong with our bed. We just kind of wanted a bigger bed. And this bed's like 11 years old nearly and everything. So we decided that that's my birthday present. And as it's my birthday present, I've chosen a pink bed, which it's not as like potentially tacky as it sounds. It's like a really dusky, lovely pink color. So yeah, that's all booked to come hopefully a couple of days before my birthday. So that's really fun and exciting. And now I get to look for new bedding and stuff to make it all nice and
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it?
special. Yeah, because that's the only downside, is because we are upgrading to a bigger bed.
Yeah, going from a double.
Yeah. None of the lovely bedding sets I have will fit. But that's fine, because then I get to buy new ones.
To a king.
Yeah, to a king.
A king fit for a queen.
No. That is nice.
Have to rearrange the room a little bit.
Well, yeah, we
not
do.
very much.
Not
Just a tiny
hugely.
bit.
We're quite lucky with the size of our bedroom.
Yeah.
But
Got to move the subwoofer. That's it.
yeah. But it's a good excuse to, because the bed that we currently have and the bed that we're going to get, they're Ottoman beds. So you can't very easily pull it out or anything. So this bed has not moved since it was put in. So it's quite a good excuse to get everything pulled out and have like a really good clean behind it and all of that before the new one gets put in.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's been exciting. And then I've got a Westfield trip planned. So shopping for holiday stuff.
And
so we go on
cookies.
holiday in like 10 days, a week on Saturday.
Yes.
Yes, we will look for cookies.
Not the pop-up kind either.
No. So we're actually recording on Wednesday again, just because it's so busy this week.
Yeah.
So shopping tomorrow. And then on Friday, when this comes out, Alice and I are going to the theatre to see Beetlejuice the musical, which I cannot wait for. That's really exciting. So yeah, just busy and hot today though. What about you?
Well, I'm trying to think. Today, in particular, has been interesting. I had a meeting about Tuesday, and on Tuesday, one of the kids and I, they haven't decided who's coming yet.
I think it's going to be Jake.
Probably Jake.
Yeah,
if
I
he
don't
doesn't
think
mind getting
Alice
up
is going to
early.
want to drive that far.
We're going to go to Cambridge, and I'm on a panel, and the panel is for just half an hour, but they're sending me a car. So we have to be ready by 7:30 in the morning. The panel is 30-minute talk, and then a little bit of networking and hanging about. And then I think we'll be back in the car by 12 o'clock. So we'll be back in London for like 2, I would have thought.
It's crazy.
Real quick trip. And two other things happened today, which were fun. I worked on some music with Zero T, my producer upstairs,
Oh, nice.
which is fun.
I didn't even know that. See, we haven't even caught up yet.
I did that before the bagel lunch that we had,
Oh, yeah, we did.
which was excellent.
Ordered bagels from B Bagel.
Yeah, lovely bagel place.
Mm-hmm.
And you ordered a pack of bagels too, didn't
Yeah,
you?
you can order the bagels. And my favourite are the poppy seed bagels. And they
And
are...
mine.
Huh?
And mine.
And yours. But they're really hard to find in the shops. Really hard.
Yeah.
And they sell them like packets of 4 of all the different bagels that they have. So I jumped at the opportunity to get some.
Which is good.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing I did today was I went back through some college music work that I'd done like 26 years ago. And I got Codex to reverse engineer the format because I hadn't heard a lot of this stuff in over 20 years. And so, being very clever, it was able to convert those into a format that I could actually play again. So I got it to write me a program, and then I published that program to my software page. So I was kind of smiling before dinner because I got to play some old things that I hadn't heard for 2 decades or more. So that was really cool. That made my day, I will say.
Oh, that's nice.
Super cool. The rest of the week has been quiet. Like nothing much has happened. I've just been working more. Actually, yeah, one other thing did happen. I found and converted the Stephen Hawking speech synth that he used to talk through. And I made it an NVDA add-on. So now you too can sound like Stephen Hawking through your NVDA.
That's cool.
And again, on my software page, it's called Pros 2000. And it's a synth from 1982, which he used for a while. Then he upgraded to something else, which sounded very, very much like the first thing anyway. But this one is definitely recognizable as Mr. Stephen Hawking, Professor Stephen Hawking. It's really cool.
That is cool.
Yeah. It's like having the man's voice. And of course, it was never his voice, but it was what he was known for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So there we are. My week. What was le quiz?
The quiz question was, and we'll see if anybody got it right. It was out of the 5 digits, which is responsible for 40% of hand function.
Ah.
Do you know? Or have a guess, like thinking about your hand? What do you think?
I saw an answer, but I'm going to guess like the pointer finger.
It's actually the thumb.
Okay, someone did say that somewhere.
Yeah. Because I think if you didn't have your thumb, it'd be quite hard to grip things.
That's actually true.
Hold things.
Yeah. I didn't say it because I saw it and I thought I'll try something else.
This week's question is, what verb can mean both to ride a horse for light exercise and to access a computer network illegally?
Okay, interesting. I like how that involves tech and animals in one.
Yeah.
Good one. All right, then what we got?
So comments. We have from Marie.
Hello.
First, the quiz question. I believe it's the thumb. And you are correct.
She is.
It is. Then we have, I think that any major thing someone else said about me to my partner about me. Sorry. It was just a lot of M's there. It just threw me. Or about my partner to me. That must be told. Also, anything to do with money shouldn't be kept a secret. Unless, of course, it's a surprise gift or something. Also, no joint accounts in a marriage. John and I discussed this literally the day we started dating. It's funny because some people are really against joint accounts and other people are very much for them.
Yeah. We're not against it. We just didn't want to do it.
We've just never needed to.
Thing.
We've just never needed to.
No.
You take care of what you take care of. I take care of what I take care of. There's just never been a need.
If we did, it would be a third account, not a joint account. You know?
Well, it would be joint because it would be a third account that we both have access to.
Oh, yeah, but some people like combine, I think, don't they?
Oh, no, that's stupid. Well, I mean, look, I've watched enough Judge Judy to know that that's not a smart idea.
That's fair.
Yeah.
You know what? A prime example, I couldn't have kept the bed secret from you because you needed to pick it and for it to colour to suit the room and everything. There's no way I could have gone and done that
No,
without
there's
you.
no way you could have
Wouldn't
done
have made any sense.
No.
So as birthdays go, it's not exactly a secret, but it's what you want.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I don't mind if it's not a present in the conventional sense. If it's something that you really want and you're going to like,
Well,
then
that's it.
I prefer
It's going to make me happy. And we're all going to benefit. Well, I say all. You and I are going to benefit from it. I don't think the kids will. Although Alice has already told me that she's going to sleep at the bottom of the bed.
Okay.
So, you know.
Like a little foot warmer. No problem.
Yeah. A little dog curled up at the bottom. Her and Penny. Then another comment from Marie. I think if you live with your partner, then anything to do with money should be discussed jointly, even if you both have separate accounts. The money is still going toward bills and other household expenses, so then it should be discussed. However, as is the case with John and I at the moment, we don't live together, so whatever he does with his money, it doesn't really bother me, just as long as he doesn't go completely bankrupt or anything. And yeah, that's fair enough. I think if you're not living together, you're not relying on somebody else to financially help with living costs.
Exactly.
You know, that's the thing. Right, then we have Bradley, who says, hi to you both. In answer to this week's quiz question, I believe it is the thumbs. You are correct.
Okay.
As for my view on secrets, I don't think I would share absolutely everything with my partner if I had one. I wouldn't go out of my way to keep secrets, but if something didn't come up in conversation, I think I would simply forget to tell them.
That's fair. Because it's not like you're hiding maliciously.
Well, that's it. I don't think that's necessarily a secret. If it's not important enough to come up, then, although I suppose you could say, well, it didn't come up in conversation that you lent somebody money, so why would you need to tell? I guess it depends in that context.
And I think, if you do something or if I do something and you're not here to tell, and you just would forget, it wouldn't be out of maliciousness. It'd just be forgetfulness.
Yeah, well, especially with me.
And then you go, oh, by the way, a week later, this thing happened and I forgot to tell you.
Yeah.
But it's happened now.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah, and as long as it isn't something like crazy important.
Yeah.
That, you know, then yeah. I guess it's the intent, isn't it?
It is.
In regard to keeping secrets about money, I definitely wouldn't like a joint bank account, but I do feel that being honest about each other's finances, especially if you live together, is definitely the way forward. I don't think there would be a need to tell each other about absolutely every purchase unless you really wanted to. For example, if I purchased a piece of music hardware or software, I might say, oh, I've just bought this from this company, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
But if I didn't mention it that day, it wouldn't be an issue as long as I'm not going absolutely crazy with my finances and leaving no money for food or other essentials.
This does seem to be a consensus, doesn't it, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's it. You know, like we said, you tell me when you've bought something that's a significant amount of money. Yeah. If it's, you know, 30 quid, 50 quid, like you wouldn't unless you're like, oh, I bought this really fun thing today.
Right. By the way, my wife bought a bed today. You should know. It cost a lot.
It did.
So... then you turn around and go, which one?
Which wife?
Yeah.
Cheeky.
Oh, dear.
I don't like the idea of sharing all of my passwords with a partner because if the worst happened and you split up, it would go very badly. I feel that if I was settled down and married and I was sure I was going to spend the rest of my life with somebody, I would possibly share the passwords to important things in case something ever happened to me.
Yeah, now that is a valid thing. It's about long-termness and commitment and everything. If you're with someone for like 3 seconds and you just met in a bar, don't give them your passwords.
Well, that's it. You didn't give me your passwords when we were first together, and that's not because you didn't trust me. There was just no need to. It's only as Although there wouldn't have been as many passwords, I guess.
Back then? No, not
Like
really.
compared to now, there's so much more
Everything is
to it.
passworded.
Yeah. So I
Even the
guess
bloody
it's different.
printer's passworded.
Gosh. Yeah, so I guess it's different. But yeah, I do agree. You do need to be careful. You do need to be like very committed. And also, it's not like you've just handed me a list of your passwords and gone, here you go. They're just in a place that if I needed, I could get to,
Yep.
which I probably can't even remember right now. So I'd have to really go looking for it. But
And the funny thing is, not the funny thing like, haha, but you need mine more than I need yours. You know?
yeah, because
of
you control more of
the bills.
the bills, the house and stuff.
So it's not, by the way, anyone listening that she hasn't given me access to hers.
But there's very little. Like all you would really need would be my phone password, which you know anyway.
Can get everything else from that. And that's the thing, isn't it? You give someone your lock and key, and then everything else, it's like a skeleton key. It unlocks all the doors, all the passwords, and you're fine.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the same, really.
Yeah, it's just, you have more stuff, I guess.
But the thing is as well, is when you're married and in a long-term relationship, you wouldn't want your partner to be without those details because it's really hard to get companies to give you any of that info when somebody, dies or whatever. Really hard.
Yeah,
for
you
safety.
have to provide death certificates.
And it makes sense.
Like I remember when my grandpa passed away, and this was like nearly 20 years ago now.
Gosh, I remember when it was not that long ago when we met.
Oh, I know. And he had a property in France where he lived most of the time. And my mum and my aunt had to go over because that's where he passed away. And the electricity had been cut off because his accounts had been frozen. And they couldn't get easily the electricity switched back on. They had to get the death certificate. They had to take it places. They had to take it to the bank, like prove to them that, yes, he was dead and that they had control over that, and then get, all of that stuff to get the electricity going.
Mad, isn't it?
Yeah, it was a bit crazy. Where were we? For example, the passwords to the services that distribute my music in order to keep my music catalogue safe. But I don't think I would share the passwords to absolutely every account I have. In regard to phones and checking things, if I had a partner and she asked to view my messages, I would ask why, because I wouldn't do anything that would make her suspicious of me. There wouldn't be anything to hide if she did look. However, if I found out that she was doing it behind my back and without my knowledge, then that would be a completely different story. If she asked to borrow my phone to, I don't know, look something up online, then it's different. That's perfectly acceptable. The same goes the other way around. If I wanted to borrow her phone to look something up or use something that I hadn't got on my own phone yet.
This guy's sensible.
Yeah.
And young, but sensible. Keep thinking like that.
Definitely. James.
Hello.
Hi, James. Yep, the thumb. It's the thumb that's responsible for over 40% work on the human hand. Yes, it is. He then says, bang on, it really isn't fair to ask you for money and then request that you don't tell your wife. Totally
I'm still
off key with that mentality. I'm sorry, but I really wouldn't care if a close family member was having a tricky time. At the end of the day, you asked for my help. I feel I have the right to know what I'm helping for. Yeah. Also find it obnoxious for somebody to spend a huge amount of money without saying anything first. Even if you were to say, look, my lovely, I'm in a situation with someone who's having some difficulties at the moment. Can we help them with some cash? At least then your partner has the option of discussing it further, because I personally feel that I'm in your corner with this. And the danger with those kind of secrets is that they could spawn more secrets, which whilst unintended at the time could cause literally huge troubles in the future. And that isn't fair either, since it starts with somebody requesting help who isn't part of your day-to-day unit. Wanting to help people is fine, but I feel strongly that a partner should be an integral component of that process.
So many. We have the best commenters
we do
on YouTube.
James also says, and yes, Andre, your mum would have been awesome on this podcast and others involving you. She always had a unique energy about her.
That she did.
Yeah.
Much love.
He then says, money troubles left unspoken by 2 of my previous partners have cost the relationships. And whilst I understand people not souring things by telling their partner immediately for obvious reasons, it's hurtful when you've got to know someone over months and had intimacy with them to the obvious levels, because it feels like you can't trust them potentially over other aspects. And it's sad that they don't trust you to try and help. It isn't exactly their fault because we all have our struggles, but having to prod for the truth really does shift everything. As I said, secrets.
You know what? I'm going to leave you with one question. That's to you as well, but
Yeah.
you listening. What is the cutoff point? Because I don't know the answer to this, right? For just lending the person and then telling your partner, or asking your partner if we should do this amount. Because there's a point for me, and I don't know where it is until it happens to me, but there's a point where I would lend somebody something, and there's a point where I would ask you if we should lend somebody something, because it goes over that internal counter.
There's so many variables though, because it would depend on the person and what you're lending it to them for. If they came, if it was somebody that was like super, super close to us, like a sibling or a parent, and the situation was not just they're going on a holiday, they want to book a holiday or something like that.
Yeah.
I feel like that's not like a necessity. If it was somebody not so close to us, don't know.
It's a tough one, isn't it?
It is a tough
because
one.
I can't tell you the answer.
It really does depend on the person, the reason, and then the amount, I think. Because if it wasn't for a good reason and it wasn't a person particularly close to us, I would say anything over £100. I don't want to harp back to Judge Judy, but I do love Judge Judy. She will always say, don't loan people money. You give what you can afford to give and don't expect it back. So that's not saying that you're not going to get it back. Like, you might get it back and that's great. But to never give somebody an amount of money that you cannot cope with not getting back, I guess.
Wow.
Because of the amount of times it comes up, particularly in her courtroom, where people have lent money and for whatever reason, they don't pay it back. And so I think that's just her thing. And so that is just dependent on your situation, isn't it?
Yeah.
£1,000 to somebody else might, super rich people might be nothing. Whereas to us, that's a huge, huge chunk of money.
It is. Good point, yeah. No, I just wondered, because I wonder if the comments will come back with like, my amount is this amount.
Yeah.
And I think it does depend on, it's a sliding scale, isn't it? It depends on the person.
Yeah.
It's really
Definitely.
interesting. Even the comments have really spawned a really good talking point. We haven't even got to the meat of it yet.
We've just got one left from James who says, finally, the humidity here has made my hands all warm and kind of sticky, but luckily my thumbs are fairly dry, so hopefully I can increase their usage temporarily to around 60 to 70%. Lol.
Oh, it's been 33 here this Wednesday.
Oh, it's been horrible.
But we have the AC on full blast, and it's done wonders in this living room. So I'm glad for that.
Yeah.
Because I've been in here all day on like 3 different topics. So, yeah. Actually, I think here was the best place to be today, so I'll take it.
Yeah.
Poor you had to go out. You didn't even mention your mum's car.
Been in and out. Oh, my mum's car's died, basically.
Which is normally how you get about.
Yeah, usually in the evenings when I have places to go and stuff, she helps me, but...
Not this week.
Not this week, and it's been my busiest week. But that's fine. We've managed. We've sorted. It's much worse for my poor mum, who has to pay an absolute fortune to get the car fixed and wait weeks to do it because for whatever reason, I don't know, garages can't see you for like nearly a month. But
that's because every garage is run by Gary, and Gary's always busy.
Gary the garage.
Gary's garage, yep.
Oh dear. Anyway.
We've got little time. What are we talking about this week?
We are talking about essentially a TV program has sparked this. And this is also our recommendation. So it's on BBC iPlayer here. I don't know how people in America can access that, because I know we have a lot of American listeners.
I have no
Can they
idea if you can
access
watch this.
iPlayer?
I don't know. If you're clever, you might find a way.
Yeah. So it's called Android. And the premise is an elderly lady or older lady
Yeah.
whose adult son is moving out, has purchased an android kind of like care worker, support worker.
Yeah.
So in this series, lots of people have these robots that live in the house and help them take care of things. And it seems to be predominantly for older people, but through the series, you see other people also using them for things. And so it's incredibly funny, by the way. So if you can watch it, my mum has actually just texted our family group to say that her and my dad have finished watching it and absolutely loved it.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
We loved it.
We loved it. And I told my mum about it and said, you have to watch this. It's so funny. And she kept seeing a few clips come up on TikTok, and that just really made her laugh. And even my dad, who doesn't tend to watch new kind of sitcom comedy things like this, he really enjoyed it, thought it was absolutely hilarious. So definitely recommend, if you can, watch it. But it got us thinking to, if this happens, because it doesn't seem that far-fetched, really, to have regular families, regular people be able to access these kind of in-home robots. I mean, there's lots of horror films and kind of things about them, but this is very much like just humor. But it did make us think, what, like in the future, would we use this kind of robot, and
for what purpose?
What would be okay to use it for?
Yeah.
Not
hence the title.
Specifically from us, but just in general.
Yes.
So I guess to start off with, can you see a future for us with one of these robots?
I think
as a home help, by the way.
As home help, yeah. Nothing else.
Nothing else.
Not keeping that kind of secret from you.
No.
You know what? I think there's a possibility there. As they become more, I can't think of the word, sensible, less weird, less hallucinatory, and actually work properly, then I think there's more reason to have them. And I think if you live alone and you need the help, then there's a possibility that an in-house robot that can go around, pick up, do things, fold laundry, help you do things, could be really useful. Absolutely.
It's the company side as well, which is something they look at, isn't it?
Yeah, they do really well with that.
From your view personally, like say I wasn't here, do you think you can imagine there being a robot presence around the house, like all the time?
I don't know, because like the technological side of me says that would be cool. But if I'm just down here with headphones on, would it be creeping around and like about to stab me in the arse? Like when you go away for a week on holiday, that would be a good time to see how it works out.
Because they cook and they clean, and I wonder if it would be a good guide. I mean, I suppose they would program it to be.
Yeah.
But that would be interesting.
Specialist programs.
To, would take you out to wherever you needed to go.
See, that is probably something that would work, because there's something coming out that's called glidance or glidance. I don't actually know how you pronounce it. Glidance, I imagine. Yeah. And from what I understand, it's a bit like a cane on wheels, motorized wheels. I think. I've not actually seen one, but it's got mapping and stuff and GPS in it. So you just hold on to it and it not pulls you along like you're on lead.
Guides you along.
But it guides you along. And so for people who don't want a dog, but want to go to new places and not have to feel worried about doing so, that'd be fun.
I've just Googled it to have a little look. That's really strange.
So if a robot could do that, I could see it being super useful. Like if I want to go down the West End and go shopping, or go into some random shop on Kilburn High Road. I'd like that. I don't know if I'd like it in robot form that could talk to me yet, because I think I'd have to see it like in some place first to believe in the technology. Because when it's in your house, it's on your network and anything can happen.
That's the thing, isn't it? You're kind of giving it access to your entire life.
Yes.
And you have to have a huge amount of trust.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, I don't know. It kind of creeps me out a little bit. But again, I think that might be because I've watched films where they have these kind of robots and then they turn against them. Or there's one that I watched where the robot caught feelings for either the wife or the husband. I can't remember. Probably one of each, to be fair, because there's so many of these kind of films. And it all goes a bit weird. Obviously, the TV show that we watched is much more lighthearted. And there aren't issues like that. But it does make you think.
And the bit we haven't touched on at all is the title of the episode. And you can get them particular ones programmed for the job of sleepage.
You can. And I guess it's then, is that okay? I mean, would you?
I like a real person.
Yeah.
I don't want a plastic metal hybrid box.
Yeah, no, the whole thing creeps me out a little bit, I must say.
But that doesn't mean others wouldn't.
No, I'm sure they would. And what would worry me as well is what are they doing to those robots? I know that they are robots. They're not thinking, feeling in the human sense.
Yeah.
But it does open up a world of scary people being able to act out things that shouldn't ever be acted.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And we have the series didn't touch on being hacked or anything.
No, because it is much more lighthearted.
It is lighthearted.
Yeah.
And it was nice for that because I think everything is always so dystopian.
Yeah, exactly.
It was a good series and I enjoyed it very much.
It was just fun. There was no, horrible.
The scariest part was in the forest.
Yeah. Yeah.
You should watch it though.
Well, you should watch it. But I would like to know other people's views of having these robots that, by the way, they just look like people. They're not like big metal robots. They look like...
Not like Crichton from Red Dwarf.
No. Or R2-D2 or, C-3PO.
Yeah.
They just look, they look like they're in normal clothes and... they're all different. They're not like all the same. They have a name. They talk to you. They do all kinds of things. And
this one was done by really good people. It was
really good.
Diane Morgan played the robot. Diane Morgan plays Liz in Motherland, and she plays. I've forgotten the name of the person in Afterlife. Kathy, is it? Maybe, possibly.
I don't know.
But also, which other character? There's some other character in some other thing.
Well, she does the Kunk.
Yeah, Philomena Kunk.
Yeah.
Right. She played. Yeah. So,
and she's written a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Like TV shows, not just books. And then there's Sue Johnston.
She was the mother in Royal Family, wasn't she?
Yeah. I mean, she's done so many things over the years, but that's the one that we know her from most. But she's fantastic.
She's excellent. And she plays herself.
Yeah, basically. She does.
Because the main character in it is Sue.
He's called Sue.
So it was nice. It was really well done.
Yeah, it's very funny. We definitely recommend it.
Even like the opening section is like in a hospital with a Jamaican nurse, and it's just funny from the outset. It's really, really good.
Yeah.
So if you are in the UK and you have access to iPlayer, there's a link in the show notes. I've already done it. Yes, I'm that ahead of it for once. I've linked to the BBC iPlayer page where you can start listening or watching Android.
Yes.
So what would you do with it if you had it? I mean, I said I would call it Dobby because you get to name your robot, right? So I'd call it Dobby.
I do like that.
It's ridiculous, but I'd still do it.
Yeah, I'm not sure that I would want one. I think I'd be really creeped out by the idea of having something quite so lifelike.
Physical. It's like physical, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think I would find it really hard to relax.
I can see that.
But what
about the days when you're just like chronically tired, which happens and you're like, I don't want to cook, but I also don't
Yeah.
want to order a takeaway. Can you just deal with it? Of course, we've got an Alice, which is real. She's real.
Yeah. It's not a robot.
But, you know,
I don't know because,
when they move out,
you know, I don't like asking for help. And so having the robot is like a permanent asking for help. I mean, look, maybe when I'm really old and things are tricky, maybe I could see it then. But again, it does just creep me out.
but you get to send it back if it doesn't say your name right.
Yeah. I
Or
know.
train it.
Yeah. I don't know. I can't imagine a world where I have one. But I can imagine a world of you trying to convince me we should get one because it's fun new technology.
So the funny thing is, I think Jake would be the one convincing us to get one, because by the time you get old,
Maybe.
you become very set in your ways and stubborn.
Yeah, but when it comes to technology, I don't think that's going to be you.
I hope it isn't.
Yeah, I don't think that's...
Honestly. The idea of being curmudgeonly for the rest of my life, it's frightening.
I don't think you're going to be that way.
I love me tech.
You do.
It's fun.
But tell us what you guys think. Would you have it?
Especially if you live alone.
Yeah?
Like, are there things that you just hate doing? And like, I
that
just
you
don't
could
want to
say,
make the beds. I hate making the beds, kind of thing.
I
Or
like making the bed.
no, yeah. But I'm just thinking like aloud. Or if you live alone and you hate ironing, or mowing your backyard, or
I
degunging
don't like
the
cleaning the oven.
Yeah, there you
It
go.
could clean the oven for me.
Because I think there's at least one thing that everybody doesn't like doing that they wish someone else could do.
There's household chores that you just wish didn't exist.
Like, imagine if you could have it go and mow the lawn weekly and you didn't have to do the weeding or anything like that.
That would be fun.
Be great, right?
Yeah.
We could have an immaculate lawn.
And I suppose you can turn them off. So you could turn it off the rest of the time and then just turn it on to do those specific jobs for you.
Yeah.
But you always need to remember to be polite to them.
Yeah, I see that with people not being polite to AIs, and it's weird to me because I think it's only a matter of time before the memories kick in and go.
It's also just, it's naturally ingrained in us to have manners. So, you know, and be respectful. It just happens.
It doesn't hurt to be respectful. At least I don't think so.
But yeah, there we go.
Short one. Short topic, long comments.
Late, that's why.
Yeah.
We're recording late today.
I'm going to be up editing all bloody night, aren't I?
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's all right.
But you'll go to bed and feel accomplished.
I will, because it means I won't have to record or edit tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So quick story for you.
All right, go on then.
Dutch supermarkets have turned checkout lanes into social spaces.
Okay.
So they introduced something called chat checkouts, which prioritizes conversation over speed. So basically for sort of, I think it's predominantly for older people who maybe don't have, similar to what we were talking about before, don't have, you know, many people to talk to, and they go to the shops and, you know, just want a bit of a conversation. So a Dutch supermarket introduced these slower checkout lanes in 2019 with an aim to make space for conversation. And 6 years later, this concept of what they call it the chat checkout has become a permanent feature in hundreds of stores and a reference point for international discussions about loneliness.
Oh, that's actually...
Yeah.
I didn't expect to like that when I started.
Yeah. So I think they probably have them like labeled in the supermarkets, you know, so this is a chat checkout. So
it's just go slow.
It's exactly. So don't maybe come to this one if you just want to get in and out.
Right.
But they can take their time, engage in brief conversations with the cashiers. So we're not talking about standing there for half an hour, but, you know, a little, how are you? Oh, this is a lovely bunch of flowers you're buying. Or are you buying this to make dinner for someone special? You know, just like a little chat that might actually be the only conversation those people have that day.
I've got a lovely bunch of coconuts.
Diddly dee.
And I hate coconuts. except coconut rice and coconut milk. But I hate coconuts.
But yeah. So I just thought that was just really nice. And
It comes back
You
to
know.
loneliness again.
it comes back to loneliness and actually trying to support people who don't have anybody.
That could be the highlight of your week when you go out for your shop, right?
Exactly.
Knowing that you get to talk to somebody. Because
Yeah.
a lot of people live alone and they just don't see anybody. And they're ambulatory enough not to need home help,
Yeah.
but they still need to go and like speak to humans.
Exactly. It's that like humans are social creatures.
Yeah,
You
definitely.
need that interaction with people, and it can be really detrimental to your health if you don't have that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, I just thought that was a really nice.
So it's a possibility that the robots could come and help you with that task.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's not all bad.
No, they're not all bad
Well, there we are.
yet.
Yet. Take a screwdriver to the wrong part, though. You'll have a bad time.
Gosh, scary.
Right, it's editation time before
Yeah.
bed. So
It's my bedtime.
yeah, you can go to bed, you lucky girl. I've got work to do now.
Yeah, afraid so.
Well, next week is 99. I can't believe it. And the week after that will be in Italy for one massive 100.
Woohoo.
I know, it's going to be mad. Mad.
Yeah.
But do leave us your thoughts in the comments. You have been really good with the comments for the last
Yeah, we love the comments.
few episodes. It's been really enjoyable. Love
Yeah.
reading comments. So thanks for that. Really curious about this week because we spent more time reading your comments than talking about the topic. And that's fine, by the way. We don't mind that at all.
No, we love it.
It gives us padding. Like the bra that I wear every day.
Nice.
I know, right? You didn't know that, did you? It's another secret.
Another secret you've been hiding.
Oh, dear. Right. Off you go to bed.
Thank you.
And I will stay up and do some work. But in the meantime and in between time...
Bye.
Thank you for calling Clearview Sudbury School. Due to a high volume of spam calls, we're forced to use this feature on our phone. To ring the main school phone, press 1. To ring the after-hours phone, press 2. To hear a dog bark, press 3.